Carnivore critics of the carnivore diet have a whole host of criticisms they love to level at us. There's no shortage of these criticisms. I mean, you can name a laundry list of these things if you really wanted to. But I think my favorite one is not that it's unsustainable or you need fiber or any of those things because you kind of understand where people are coming from with that. My favorite one is, why do you guys love Redmond's real salt so much? It's it's weird and kind of creepy how much you like Redmond's real salt. Just use table salt. I'm going to tell you why people like Redmond's real salt. I'm going to put an asterisk next to Redmond's though, because most people seeing this will be in the United States. But the carnivore diet is a worldwide thing. It's not even limited to like the West. It's, there are people in the Philippines and in China and other places that do the carnivore diet. We prefer sea salts that come from ancient seabeds, from landlocked seabeds. Redmond's real salt comes from Utah, which they tell us was the site of an ancient seabed at some point, and they mine the salt there, and it's wonderful. And I can tell you that it is definitely different than sea salt from the ocean. I can tell just by the taste of it. There's a number of reasons why we like, first, land-based sea salt, and the general rule we go with is get something from the continent you live on. Okay, so and that's a whole lot of reasons, including the fact that you don't have to pay the exorbitant fee of having it shipped from overseas, and you're not taking salt from some other people, and all sorts of environmental concerns and other things. But we like the land-based salts for a few reasons. One, they tend not to have mercury in them because mercury is a modern civilization problem in the oceans. We'll find mercury traces in oceanic sea salt. That's part of it. We tend to like land-based salts because they just are going to be uncorrupted with pollutants in general, including microplastics. I'm going to do a video on microplastics because I'm not concerned about most of the environmental concerns that a lot of people promote in the broader culture, but microplastics and heavy metals in the ocean are things that I actually am concerned about because those have unequivocally measurable impacts on human beings and on the broader world. But here, I'm going to show you a more basic reason why we prefer Redmond's or what other sea salt you might have in Australia or Europe or Asia or wherever it is you're watching this. And that's this. This on your screen is the most common brand of table salt in the United States. Morton's table salt, complete with the little girl with the umbrella on it. Some of the best marketing ever in terms of enduring, logos and emblems for a company. But look at the back. What is that you see there? That's the ingredients list. Now, what does salt have an ingredients list? Because it's not just salt. Here you see an anti-caking agent, as well as potassium iodide, because it is iodized salt, but also dextrose. Dextrose is a type of sugar, folks. Your table salt has sugar in it. How much sugar? Probably not much. They don't tell you the percentages because that's apparently a trade secret or something, but your salt has sugar in it. Why would you buy that for salt? There's no reason to buy that as salt. And if you're trying to keep your sugar intake down to zero, the only sugar that you consume on a carnivore diet are going to be the trace sugars in the muscle meat itself, the glucose that might still be there after processing. And I'm sure there's still some there. That's all you're going to get though on a carnivore diet. If you're doing anything remotely strict, that is the only sugar you're going to get. So why would you want sugar to come and be in your salt? I don't even want the anti-caking ingredients there. I live in one of the most humid parts of the country. Central Oklahoma is a pretty humid place. Frequently, I have to, any spices I have, if I'm cooking something, if I'm having that rare time where I'll put spices on something, or if I'm putting spices on something for something I'm cooking for family, I have to open up with whatever spice I have and chop it up because despite the anti-caking agents in there, they still cake up because it's just so humid here. They don't really do much. They put them in there anyway. I don't want those either. But at the most basic level, Redmond's real salt and salt like it. Real Himalayan sea salt, if you live in that part of the world, or any ancient sea salt from in Europe, wherever you're getting it from, they don't have the minerals in it stripped out. They still have high mineral content quality. Now these are trace minerals, but all of the trace minerals help. We are, as human beings in the modern world, severely deficient in magnesium and potassium and all sorts of other things. A lot is stripped out of our soil from industrial plant-based agriculture using modern fertilizers, which strip the crap out of the topsoil, removing a lot of the nutrients. That's another thing to actually be concerned with. That's why regenerative agriculture should be the future. The policymakers don't get as much control when they promote that kind of agriculture. But those salts don't have the minerals ripped out of them. Refined salts, your table salts, or white salts, they do. They have all those minerals stripped out of them, bleached out. It's actually kind of gross when you really look at how they're made. So those are the reasons we actually choose Redmonds or salts like it. Curious though, let me know if you have where in the world you're watching this. If you're watching this outside of North America, and what salt you use. What brands are there available in Australia? Is there a sea salt in Canada? I mean, yeah, that's in North America, but is there an ancient sea salt available in Canada that's not Redmond's? How about in the United Kingdom or in Western Europe, or if you're watching this in Eastern Europe, or you're in Southeast Asia somewhere watching this, or you're watching this in the Philippines? I know there's some people watching this channel from the Philippines. Let me know what you're using as an ancient sea salt, if you have access to them at all. I could understand if you're in the Philippines having to rely more on, actual oceanic sea salt. Just curious what you think about this, because the Redmond's real salting is very real. I notice a difference when I use that instead of table salt. It's just I do notice that I feel better using that stuff, and it's sort of like why we tell people to drink mineral waters if you can. Those also have all the minerals. Those still have minerals in the water that haven't been stripped out, and they're still safe. They're purified water, but they still have minerals in them. They haven't been stripped of all the good stuff. San Pellegrino and Topo Chico and a number of other brands. It's the same principle here, folks. Now, one of the things that I like about Carnivore Crisps, actually, is that they use Redmond's real salt, which unfortunately you can't see it in this here. I'll try to put a picture on the screen here so you can see that the ingredients are just beef and Redmond's real salt. That is actually really good. That's actually a really cool thing about this particular product, is because they use actual good salt. And you can definitely tell when you taste it, and we'll give you the crunch in case you've been curious about Carnivore Crisps and you've never actually tried one or really seen one. They have a crisp crunch like a chip, and they have that salty crunch that satisfies something that you just usually can't get on a carnivore diet. Link in the description, by the way, if you want to try some Carnivore Crisps. But they use Redmond's real salt. That's a major selling point to me for these things. And any other product that I see out there that has Redmond's real salt in it, I immediately know is something cut above, because, like I keep saying, Redmond's real salt has actual minerals in it, trace minerals of magnesium and other things that we tend to have a hard time getting generally as people eating in the modern food system, but people in the carnivore diet have especially a hard time getting for whatever reason. So let me know what you thought of this in the comments, please. And like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help. Share this on social media if you can. It helps a lot as well. I'm Anthony Stine, Practical Carnivore. Thanks for your time today.